Alors, bonjour tout le monde. Um, Today's lesson is a continuation of what we started with yesterday. We continue with the same learning objective, which is to be able to describe relationships with family members. But our success criteria for today is for you to learn adjectives of personality so that you can describe personality traits of various family members. So we begin with our traditional lesson starter, 1 to 8, all phrases and vocabulary which you worked on yesterday. I would like you to pause the presentation and I would like you to write 1 to 8 in your jotter, please, and translate these phrases into English. So you have paused the presentation, you have read through these phrases and translated them. So we're going to go through them together. The first one is Je m'entends bien avec ma mère. You should have translated that as I get on well with my mother. Numéro 2, je ne m'entends pas bien avec mon frère. I do not get on well with my brother. Numéro 3, on a beaucoup en commun. We have a lot in common. Numéro 4, on est trop différents. We are too different. Numéro 5, on sort ensemble. We go out together. Numéro 6, on fait beaucoup ensemble. We do a lot together. Numéro 7, on se confie. We confide in each other, we share secrets, we tell each other everything, something along those lines, sharing confidences. Numéro 8, on n'a pas beaucoup en commun. We don't have very much in common. We don't have a lot in common. So, as I said, today we are working on adjectives of personality. To use that, you're going to have to use the correct part of the verb être, to be. So you're going to say je suis for I am, and il est for he is, elle est, or you will replace il or elle with a noun which indicates who you're talking about. So ma mère, my mother is, mon père, my father is. Alors, so we are going to move on to the vocabulary that you need for today's lesson. When we are covering this, the slides show you a good selection of different kinds of personality, adjectives associated with personality, but it's certainly not an exhaustive list. There are a huge number and those are to be found in your Mato textbooks, but I'll tell you more about that towards the end of the presentation. For now, I would like to go through the presentation. I will, as I did yesterday, say the phrases, say the vocabulary in French, leave a pause for you to repeat, even if you do that very quietly because you feel a bit silly. And you don't need to write anything down just now because you're going to know all of this vocabulary later on. So, the first phrase is Je suis artiste. I would like you to say artiste. Artiste. And I'd like you to make a stab at what this means before I reveal this in English. So if you are artiste, then you are artistic. Je suis artiste. So the second one has two words. You've got bavard and bavarde. And there is a really, really subtle difference there brought about by the E on the end of the second word, bavarde. One masculine, one feminine. So if you are a boy or a male and you're describing yourself, you would say you are bavard. If you are describing a male member of your family, they are bavard. If you are feminine, you are female, a girl, a woman, you are bavarde. Or if you are describing a female member of your family, you would say, for example, ma sœur est bavarde. My sister is. We've got somebody chatting on the phone there. They are chatty. Okay, I would like you to say after me, please. Drôle. 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 And I would hope that you would get from the picture and from the word droll in English perhaps, that if you are drôle, then you are funny. Okay, I would like you to say after me, please, égoïste. 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 And can you work out what égoïste means? It comes from the Greek ego, which means I, myself, and we use that term in English when we talk about someone's ego. And if someone has a really big ego, then they're all the big I am and they think it's all about them and that they are just the most important and it's all about I. So think about somebody who behaves like that. What are they? They are égoïste. They are selfish. So, comme on dit en français, how do we say the following in French? If I show you the pictures, can you remember what those adjectives were? We had artiste for artistic. What was funny? It was drôle. How did we describe someone as selfish? The big I am, all about me, they were égoïste. And here we have someone chatting away on a mobile phone. They are bavard. So we have all the masculine forms there because we've got bavard here. Artiste, drôle, égoïste only have one form, so you use them whether you're talking about someone who is masculine or feminine. Okay, so moving on, we have someone here who is gentil. 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 So that's the first adjective there. The second one, where we double the L and add an E, there is a subtle difference. Please say after me, gentille. 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 And if you are gentil, gentle comes from it, but it simply means that you are kind in French. Okay, so moving on, we have généreux. 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 So if you wanted to describe your father as généreux, what would you say? Mon père est généreux. And then we have généreuse. 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 How would you say my mother is generous? Because that's what this means, obviously, generous. You would say ma mère est généreuse. Okay, after me, please. Intelligent. 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 How would you say he is intelligent? Il est intelligent. Intelligente. 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 How would you say she is intelligent? Elle est intelligente. So we've got intelligent. Okay, so here we've got a picture of a guy, he's kicking back, relaxing, doing nothing much, just watching some TV on the sofa. And we would say of him, paresseux. 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 If this were a picture of a female, we would say paresseuse. 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 So I wonder if you can work out what that means. If I were to tell you the word parasitic, so an organism that uses other things to survive, what would that mean? It's lazy. So if someone is paresseux or paresseuse, then they are lazy. So, comme on dit en français, let's have a recap. How did we say someone was kind? Gentil. Do you remember what the feminine was? Gentille. We doubled the L and added an E. What was that one? Same as English. Different pronunciation. Intelligent. How would we talk about a female? Intelligente. We'd add the E. What was this one? Parasitic came from it. Paresseux. Paresseuse. Et finalement, we had generous. So we had généreux. What was the feminine again? Généreuse. Okay, so we discussed this adjective recently because we were writing about leisure activities, or certainly some of you were. If you were male, you would say sportif. Je suis sportif. Sportif. If you were feminine or describing a female, you would say sportive. Sportive. And of course, that means that you are sporty. Next one is, after me, please, sympa. 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 There is no masculine or feminine for sympa. It does not change depending on who you're talking about. And it simply means that you are nice. The word sympathetic in English, which is a more complex feeling or a more complex description, comes from sympa in French, which is simply nice. Okay, could you say after me, please, timide? Timide. Timide. No masculine, no feminine form, just the same, whether you're talking about a male or a female. And I wonder if you could use your knowledge of English to work out what this means. We have the word timid, which is a way of saying that somebody is shy, timide. And finalement, could you say romantique? Romantique. Romantique. So romantic, and we don't have a different form for that. It's simply romantique, irrespective of what you're talking about. So let's have a wee round up. How did we say that someone was nice? Sympathetic comes from it. Nice is simply sympa. Sporty. If you're sporty, you are sportif. What is the feminine form of that? Do you remember? Sportive with a VE. Shy. How did we say someone was shy? We used timid. That's the word that will remind us. And it is timide. And it doesn't change if it's masculine or feminine. It's just the same. And we had romantique at the end there for romantic. So here we have a bit of a roundup of the words that we have gone over there. Wee reminder. Now, as I said earlier, this is certainly not an exhaustive list. You have many, as you have in English, descriptions of personality. and they're all covered in Metro. So you're going to do an exercise on that in a moment or two, but this is a good start. It gets you thinking about the fact that a lot of these words are cognates. Our words come from the French or from the Latin, so we can identify them that way. It reminds you of the fact that we have to be aware of that element in French of masculine and feminine, and you have to be aware that if you're talking about a female in French, sometimes that's going to very slightly change the word and slightly change your pronunciation. So what I would like you to do now is some tasks and activities based on what we have just gone over. I would like you to begin by doing this very, very simple, straightforward reading. A letter from Celine. She tells you about what she looks like, what her personality is like. She tells you about her parents, her brother, and then she asks you some questions at the end. I would like you please to read the very simple text in French and give some answers to the questions at the bottom, which are kind of all in different colours. They are red down to there's a kind of orangey one at the end. So very simple activity there to get you started. I would then like you to go to page 28. On page 28, which is called Comment êtes-vous? What are you like? There are many, many adjectives of personality at the bottom of the page in the blue box. It begins il est, elle est, he is, she is. There's a kind of key at the top of the box because it's the key vocabulary. And then you have words that go from amusant, amusante, down to sage. And what I would like you to do is in your jotter, I want you to create a simple table, a line down the middle, so a really, really simple table, a plus at one side, a plus sign at one side, a minus sign at the other side, and I want you to divide those adjectives into positive descriptions of personality and negative descriptions of personality. So for example, if someone is amusant, amusante, I don't think it's going to be a great shock to you to learn that that they are amusing or funny. Another way to say that someone's amusing or funny, just like we might say in English that they're hilarious or humorous, or we'd have various words for that. That's going to be a positive, so you would put amusant, amusante there. And then you would have elsewhere ennuyeux. Well, you know straight away, I'm sure that means that someone's boring, so you're going to put that into the negative category. There are quite a number of words there, so separate them into positive and negative. And then I would like you to use your knowledge of French and English to try to decipher, work out what these words mean, and check that against page 38 of the textbook. If you go to page 38 of the textbook, there is La Personnalité, a section on personality traits. You can check what all of these adjectives mean against that page. If there is a word there that you don't know, then make sure that you write it down, please, in your jotter. So you probably don't need to write that sociable means that you're really sociable, but you might, for example, need to write down that sage means sensible. So use your own judgment, you decide what you need to remember yourself, but we will do a vocabulary test on that at some point, so you want to know all of those words. The next thing I want you to do is go to page 29, and on page 29 there is a reading passage. It's called it starts Je me présente, and we have someone introducing themselves. You go to, it's in the green box, the sort of green section of the page on page 29. and you have questions 1 to 8, with a boy describing himself, his family, and there are questions on that. So I would like you to answer those questions, please. And you can send in pictures through assignments of your adjectives, what they mean, if you've designated them as positive and negative, and your answers to that reading passage on page 29, please, for your work from today. Okay. As always, during the double period today, I will be available on the chat, so just get in touch with me if there are any problems. And we will have had a meeting kind of just before this presentation, so I should have taken you through most of this in even a very basic way. Thank you.